Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another installment of Pit Pass Network interviews. Today we got Kyle Weatherman with us, driver of the number 4 Chevrolet Camaro for JD Motorsports. Actually up recently, but thanks so much for joining us, Kyle.
No, appreciate you having me on. I know we're last minute deal that was put together. Very, very thankful. Call from Johnny, and we've had conversations back and forth for the past few years. Johnny and I have, and I'm glad to finally get an opportunity to drive for him this weekend. I think it's gonna be fun. Love Nashville. It's in a Chevrolet. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, it's very awesome. I guess how did that deal get together?
I don't know what happened between the situation there. Yeah, but I got a call. I think it was kind of Wednesday. This stuff kind of materialized a little bit. Wednesday night, kind of knew for sure, and then Thursday I was down at the shop, kind of helping out, getting my stuff ready inside the car, kind of helping on final setup, stuff like that, and getting my suit, helmet, all that stuff in the trailer. So yeah, I don't not really sure exactly how it materialized or anything like that, but just very thankful for the opportunity and to make the best of it. And we'll see how we do in Nashville this weekend.
Yeah, it's very awesome. And how excited are you to work with Brennan Poole?
Yeah, he's great. I mean, I think the experience that he has is really important, right? So to kind of lean on him and just kind of understand back and forth. But I think realistically, him and I together is going to be important as well, right? I think realistically we've both got similar experience in ways, right? So I think we can kind of build and help make the both race cars better, maybe a little bit quicker, right? So just bouncing ideas back and forth of how my car is driving, how his is driving, maybe some of the changes that him and his crew chief have made in the 50-minute practice session that we have, which is cool to have a little bit longer session to work on it. But then we have overnight to think about it as well, which is cool. So yeah, can kind of just debrief and have some good knowledge between each other is going to be cool.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned crew chiefs and such. So who's your crew chief inspire going to be, and have you worked with them before?
I think it's gonna be Johnny. I'm not sure actually. And I think Case is over there. I know Case is the crew chief on Brennan's car. Case actually helped set up the car yesterday, and I think Johnny will have a few people that'll come up and help and put this thing together and make it all happen. So not sure exactly who yet. Once again, this is so last minute for me that information and I don't even know who my spotter is or who's gonna be pitting the car or anything like that. Just I know what my job is, and I'm going to go do the best I can on track and put these guys in the best position I can for myself and them included, and just have a good time.
Yeah, it's awesome. You're heading up to Nashville right now. How excited are you to race on that racetrack this weekend?
I love Nashville. I've raced here twice, once with Mike Harmon, and then last year with Jesse Wuji. And yeah, we both results don't show the kind of speed that we had. We had a parts failure with Harmon 2 years ago, and then actually a parts failure last year with Jesse with power steering. So the results don't show the best. Qualifying was good, but yeah, the result page doesn't show that. But no, I love this place. It's a short track in a way. Use a lot of brake. Have to get it to turn, and it's a fun place to get around. I like it a lot.
Yeah, for sure. And then the week after this is the Chicago Street Race. How excited are you for that?
Yeah, well, right, the atmosphere is crazy here. Love Nashville. The city of Nashville is amazing. Obviously, that brings that crowd as well here. Chicago is going to have an amazing crowd as well. We're racing on streets that all these people drive on, literally, right? So that's going to be crazy, and have to go around and dodge all the manholes and all the covers that are on the racetrack that we're going to be racing on. And yeah, it's just something so different. I've done a lot of sim stuff with Hendrick Motorsports, and then some of the stuff that I have for Chevy and GM and Junior Motorsports has helped a little bit as well, some sim time. And yeah, it's crazy, right? I mean, we're all kind of doing all this sim stuff, not really even knowing, right, the grip level of the racetrack. Kind of we've got the layout and what it's going to look like for the most part, but even with the sim stuff that we have and using iRacing, we're still in slight question marks, right? So even though we still have this help and support, right, which is amazing and cool, we're still going there really not even knowing, right? So we're all just kind of assuming of what to do and what's going to happen, but that throws another curveball and even more fun, right? If you really look at it that way. So there's going to be a lot of cars. I think there's going to be 43 cars that'll send a couple home, right? So you're going to have to be on it for qualifying, and it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned about junior motorsports, and actually Dale Jr. said recently that he wishes he could put you an additional junior motorsports entry. So what does it mean to hear those words from like a racing icon like Dale Jr.?
Yeah, that's cool, right? I mean, it's I don't need much more motivation to do anything in this sport. I mean, I'm very motivated to move forward in any absolute way I can to make myself better as a driver on off track. But to just get a little bit of reassurance is cool every once in a while, right? And just really important. So, yeah, huge name. I love Dale. He's helped and supported my career up to this point, and just support. And it's really cool. Yeah, I'd love to drive for him, right? For sure. Need to get that the funding and sponsorship wise taken care of and figured out. But hey, there's an opening over there now, and we need to go see if we can make that happen.
Yeah, for sure. The recent Josh Berry news, there's an opening in the 8 car, so give you an opportunity there. And also you do Chevrolet sim work for Hendrick Motorsports, and the role for that is to usually for them is to give Hendrick like the feedback and work on the correlation to make the team model more accurate. And the team that looks at his data at your data compares it to the on track SMT data to improve its
Mm-hmm.
model. So I guess what does it mean to get the call from Mr. H to help the Cup guys?
Yeah, it was a really cool phone call with Chad Canals, which is obviously an idol that I look at as well, right? He's just so experienced and so well known in this sport, and obviously has a great role and success with Jimmy Johnson, which is another driver that I really respect and what he's done, right? And Chad had a big part of that, so that was really cool. I'm blessed and honored to have that relationship with these guys, and they have been a great asset, right? It helps me as a driver as well, going to the racetrack and being a little bit more prepared, right? So I think it's a win-win for both sides. Yeah, I mean, I think it just gives a different perspective for, or just one more, database, right? That they can kind of build off of. They trust my feedback and kind of what I'm giving, and really just use their four main drivers, but have a couple of others they'll throw in there and just get a little different perspective. But yes, I've worked with Kevin Mindering now, which is, I guess, basically the crew chief on the sim side of stuff, and then Kenny Francis, which is on the GM side, and he creates all the tire models for each aligned Chevrolet team, right? So all these teams that get time on the simulator, I've also had good time with Kenny Francis on helping with like the wheel force data that they bring back from the racetrack that Justin has, and then I can kind of help build and correlate to build that tire model that's going to be sent first off to like Trackhouse, Hendrick Motorsports, teams like that. So to have a part in that too is really cool. So yeah, no, it's awesome. It's a dream come true, right? To just be involved or have a relationship with Hendrick Motorsports, right? And everybody at Chevrolet. So I just think it's a really cool experience, and trying to make the best of it and learn from everything and keep on moving forward with it.
Yeah, for sure. And Jeff Gordon works there too, so that must be fun to work with him too.
Yeah, no, I actually finally introduced myself to Jeff a few weeks back. Obviously, he's incredible as well, right? With what he's done in the sport and what role he has at Hendrick Motorsports now is very important, right? So, yes, building that relationship with Jeff Gordon, Jeff Andrews, Chad Canals, right? I actually have not met Mr. H yet, so hopefully at some point in the near future I can make that happen. Yes, I just respect everybody over there, right? All four crew chiefs and everybody that works there is just very knowledgeable and fun to be around and very smart. And you put yourself around smart people, it just makes yourself better too.
For sure. And I guess now for the people like listening at home uh that don't know you that well, I guess walk me through your background and what got you into racing.
So I'm from Missouri. I started racing go-karts when I was 8 with my brother and dad both. Peebly, Missouri was actually the first place that I went and raced go-karts, and just kind of initially kind of traveled locally, whether it's in Missouri or just kind of states close to around Missouri. and went and kind of followed a couple of smaller series, but then quickly started traveling. Once we kind of realized that this is something that we really want to do professionally, right? I didn't probably know that at 8 years old that I wanted to do that professionally, right? I looked up to a lot of drivers and knew that I loved the sport, but I think probably when I started getting into bandoleros and legend cars and kind of understood kind of where I was at, right, is really kind of where the light switch went off. So, and realized that this is something that I want to do professionally, right? So, just since then, put 110, 115% effort into everything I do, whether it's on, off track, the craft that I bring to the table with my racecrafts or anything like that, right? So I just really prepare all the way around. And there was actually an article that Dustin put out this week, Monday morning or Tuesday, of how I always stay ready, right? And this opportunity here to drive at Nashville was not even a situation really until Wednesday night, right? And Thursday the car loaded up, right? So and then Friday, right now I'm traveling up here, so yeah, just staying ready is important, right? Um, and I think that all helps everywhere around.
Yeah, for sure. And what was your during your early days racing, what was your do you remember your very first car number?
My first car number was 6. My very first one was 6. That was go kart and then bandoleros at first. I'm a huge David Reagan fan. I the guy that actually helped get me started in racing is my dad's close friend and is related to David Reagan. So that initial relationship was really early with David, and obviously his number was 6. So I think that's definitely probably what led to that. But that I think 17 was my next number, and then a bunch of them after that, right? But yeah, my first one was 6.
That's very awesome. And are you gonna ask Brennan to swap numbers with you so you get the six back?
And I have first number 2. I think cool. I like the logo. Not perfect this for logo. I think it looks good.
So okay, I think I lost you a little bit. Can you re-answer that question actually?
Gotcha. Yeah. So no, yeah, I should ask him to swap. I should ask him, right? But no, I don't think it's gonna happen. And all seriousness, the way that the number 4 looks, I think that looks really cool. So I've never driven a car number 4, so I don't believe so at least. So excited to do that for the first time. And yeah, I think it's just gonna be a fun, good weekend.
That's very exciting. And so actually, your brother races too. So how's the brotherly competition like between you and like during your childhood?
Yeah, no, it was great during the child. He actually unfortunately doesn't race now. I think deep down, I think he still wants to, and hopefully someday we can all do that again, right? But it's just so much. First off, funding. Secondly, just work and dedication. I think he has that. I know he does, but just getting the funding put together is so tough, right? And it's a tough sport to be in. And yeah, so no, yeah, that was awesome though at the early stages of our career. He's good too. He's been multiple times in go kart, bandoleros, legend cars too. Um, we raced, I think, races together. Um, I had a lot of experience. He was a little bit newer on that side, but no, he's an amazing driver as well. I wish that at some point in our career it could maybe take off and we could do it again together, right? I know he'd have fun doing that again, and I definitely did as well. That brotherly competition. Once again, it's not like I need any more motivation or drive, but when your brother's out there, you always wanna beat him. So and he's good, right? So that pushes you even more.
Yeah, for sure. And does your past family have any history of racing as well?
No, when we first started, my dad actually got a go kart the same time we did, and he raced a little bit with us. But then once it kind of took off to where we were going to do it professionally, and just the to make my brother and I as best we possibly could, he stopped after that. But there's no real past experience. Like I said, he raced a little bit with us, but not not really anything before that. He's just kind of been a fan, and once again, his friend Brian Main, actually, the one that's related to David Reagan, just they've been a fan of racing, and then obviously with David being in racing, it just kind of sparked that idea.
Yeah, for sure. And so so what's been your favorite racetrack you've raced on in your career so far?
That's a tough one. There's a handful. I think recently Darlington and Homestead are definitely top of the list right now. ARCA Series days, and I don't think I ever raced an Xfinity car there, but Iowa is really fun. I miss going there. I hope we somehow get that back on the schedule. Um, yeah, Iowa probably early childhood days was definitely one of my favorite racetracks to go to. But now as of recent, Darlington and Homestead are definitely top of that list right now.
And then the racetracks you've never been to before raced on, which one are you most looking forward to racing on in the future?
Well, I think everyone is eager to figure out this Chicago street course, right? So that's obviously the first initial one that I'm looking at. I have to go down the list of ones that after this I mean, I guess Road America. I know the layout, right? But it's repaved, so that's going to be different. So those two first come to mind. I don't know if I'd have to look at the schedule. I think I've been everywhere else, but yeah. First off, the Chicago Street Course, right? None of us have been there, so that's definitely interesting there. And which one's left and which one's right? Because I don't think any of us really have an idea.
For sure. And I guess now I guess what is your pre-race routine usually, you would say?
I don't really have a routine in a sense of like what I do or anything like that, or what I eat. Obviously, try to eat, a couple hours before the race. Drinking water or Gatorade, whatever stops an hour before the race as well. Um, and then I just get super quiet. I get super quiet, super focused, and just super driven, right? So I just kind of really get honed in and focused. And then that normally starts, right before or during I'm getting my suit on, right? It's a light switch as well, right? Of where it's like, all right, it's game time. Don't talk to me. I'm ready to go, kind of thing. And I think that's really kind of the only rituals I have, I guess, or kind of consistencies of what happened, each and every weekend.
For sure. And then what do you do the week before, like throughout the week before a race?
Just yeah, I mean, working out's important. The sim stuff has obviously helped a lot, and just staying hydrated, right? And then just really being prepared in any way, right? Watching some videos on YouTube or looking at some SMT that we have, previous races or anything like that. But that's really about it. That's all we can really do now, right? And just prepare with the tools that we have and go from there.
For sure. And I guess for car handling wise, do you prefer to race a car loose or tight if you can't have it neutral?
Yeah, no, I think especially with the Xfinity stuff. I mean, anytime you try to get overly tight, it is not good for a long run or all you have to have it on that side. But realistically, just being a little bit on the freer side is probably more important for me, especially with the Xfinity stuff. It's not comfortable, right? But you to go fast, you kind of have to be a little bit on the freer side and know that during the run it's normally going to build a little bit tighter and it'll probably come to you when you need it most.
For sure. And I guess your driving style, are you more of a hard on entry or slower or slower on entry type of guy in turns?
Yeah, it just depends on the place that we're going to and how the car is driving too. I normally like to get the kind of car settled down before it gets there and really kind of roll the center. So I guess I'd say maybe not charging it as hard is probably more important to me. Really, just taking care of the tires throughout the run. But it also depends on kind of where we're at positioning wise on how many laps are left, right? Right. So give and take. Really, I think it's kind of a give and take situation. Um, I think as a driver, I think it'd be pretty good at both, right? To be fast, Whether that's in qualifying, obviously you have to attack pretty hard, or whether it's a green white checkered at the end, you're gonna have to attack hard. But maybe beginning of the race or mid race, right, when it's going to be a 40 something lap run, 50 lap run, taking care of it and probably giving up a car length or so on entry is definitely going to pay out in the long run.
Yeah, for sure. And are you one of those drivers that um like to take a risk sometimes, a lot of times, and ride the wall often?
Yeah, so I mean those two places that I named of my two favorite ones, um, I feel like I'm pretty good at that. I wish that some of these racetracks kind of got up there a little bit more. I think our races are either too short to where they don't get up there quite often, or obviously with the Cup guys, they don't. I feel like they're kind of their cars are definitely drive a lot differently to where they don't go up there either, right? So I enjoy it. I love it. I think it's even more driver related to where it really takes a lot of mental focus to do it and hit your marks and realize, especially at those two places that I named, Homestead and Darlington, they're so abrasive where you do one lap and then you come back for lap two, entering three or whatever. You have a different grip level from whenever you're entering from just the lap previous, right? In a sense of you're losing grip. Now it'll kind of maintain later in a run when you get to 30 or 40 laps in a run, but just being patient with it and realizing that it's going to drive so much differently, really each and every lap, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. And this is a wild question right here, but have you gone through a race with the broken air conditioner before? Because I've known that's happened to drivers before.
I have. I don't remember the last time. I mean, knock on a wood, because I'm actually not using my own AC box this week. I'm using Johnny's, but yeah, that's miserable. And I think the last time it broke on me, or it didn't break. It just the hose fell off, and I couldn't get it back on. Was Chicago a couple years ago, and it was miserably hot. Of course, it wouldn't fall off at a place that is cold, right? You go up to like Watkins Glen or something, which has a road course. You probably need it there too, but normally colder in situations, right? But yeah, of course, it was an extremely hot race, and yeah, I was drained after that race for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess I would say what would you say is your greatest strength in racing and your greatest weakness?
Strength, just balancing everything, I guess, right? I mean, being aggressive when you have to, whether it's on restarts or late in the race, but then taking care of it. I feel like I strive on that too. I feel like taking care of whether it's the car or the tires. I think really balancing everything is really important, especially in the NASCAR series, right? Taking care of the equipment is really important to all these owners. The stuff is so expensive to build and takes so long to put together. So I think just really maximizing everything, but then also realizing the edge of stuff, right? And just really, kind of balancing that. Weakness, Martinsville. I don't know why I struggle at Martinsville. I track. I should be good there. I feel like I've gotten better there. I've never qualified good there. I don't know why. In Colin's car this year, we qualified decent. Was racing really well, and then something broke, of course. But I've struggled there. I don't know why. I've needed to get myself better there. I feel like I have, but I would say still that's a little bit of my weaker side. But I still feel like I'm getting better there and feel like I could compete once the race starts now.
Yeah, for sure. And then as far as track layouts, which one do you like the most out of all the track layouts, like the intermediates, the super speedways, road courses, and short tracks?
That's hard. I mean, because I strive to be good at all of them, right? But I like the mile and a half stuff of how it throws more curveballs of aero being a factor or side force, down force, all that stuff, right? Getting behind cars with dirty air and having to deal with all that. I feel like that's fun to deal with. Short track with hard racing and tire management, which you have that everywhere, but short track brings that kind of side of stuff. Road course, heavy braking, managing tires, right? So that's so hard, right? I mean, I think it's hard to pick one, but as drivers, I feel like you got to be good at all of them to be good, right? And yeah, that's a hard one.
For sure. What's your favorite? What would you say is your favorite racetrack, like of each layout? Like so like what's your favorite road course, favorite intermediate, favorite short track, and favorite super speedway and such?
Yeah, I like Daytona. Not that I don't like Talladega. I like Daytona, just for what it brings. Road course, that's hard too. There's a lot of fun ones. And I had a good time at Watkins Glen last year. It's a beautiful place. First of all, the state itself, but then it's just a high grip, really fast, fun road course. I like Watkins Glen. I like a lot of road courses. Short tracks. Richmond's really fun. Bristol wear you out. Bristol's fun. You got to be up on it at Bristol. Um, Mile and a half stuff. I like Kansas. Um, Obviously Darlington, Homestead. Those are obviously two of the top ones. Kansas is fun. Texas is fun. Texas is so different than a lot of the mile and a halves. Yeah, that's hard, man. They're all really different. You've got a handful of them that are similar, right? But I mean, you even look at like Vegas or Kansas or Charlotte, right? Like they're all similar when you look at them, but they race so differently, different lines, characteristics of the track, really bumpy and one at Vegas, really bumpy and three at Charlotte. Um, yeah, they're all so different.
Yeah, for sure. You mentioned Bristol. The Cup Series and Truck Series race at the dirt race. How much do you wish the Xfinity Series races on the dirt track at Bristol?
I don't think a lot of the owners want to see it for some reason, which I get. Right? It's dirty, tears up the stuff pretty easily. I like it. I think it's cool. I think it's different. I don't think that for us, I think type thing, maybe a kind of a one-off deal would be cool, or maybe that could be our all-star race or something like that, which and have a higher paying race to where some of the team owners would be okay with it. But yeah, maybe they can throw that in for our all-star race or something next year. That'd be kind of different, and cool.
Yeah, that'd be fun. And actually, 2017 to 2019, you started 11 Cup races for Rick Ware and Starcom. So I guess how did that opportunity come about for you?
Positioning myself at the right time. Obviously, funding had a help with that, right? But just really good relationship with Derek Cope, which was the manager up there, and became good friends with him and some of the owners at Starcom at first. And just created that relationship. Worked in the shop and got opportunity that way. And the same thing with Rick. Just ended up going over there, driving a couple Xfinity races for him. Started working at the shop, and then just put all the pieces together. So two great owners that I've driven for. Really respect both of them and what they've done in the sport. And yeah, glad to drive for them. And I thought it was really cool to get my first start with Rick in the Cup Series. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, for sure. And you, with the during your time racing Cup, it was a different car as well. Now it's a different car, but you do sim work for Hendrick, so I guess have you experienced like the next gen car like through that?
Yeah, I've done a lot of next gen stuff, right? Nothing on track to kind of compare to. So that's why it's sometimes hard. And that's why it's really important for me to look at some data from whether it's, any of the four drivers at Hendrick Motorsports or some of the other ones, right? To kind of compare and make sure, because they do drive differently than the old Cup cars or even the Xfinity cars, right? So much differently. So it was a learning curve a little bit at first, but with all the data and all the engineering and all the stuff that they have, you can adapt fairly quickly and realize where you need to be different and understand that you can drive them a lot differently too.
Yeah, for sure. And you have experience in that and the Xfinity, and you have one start in truck. So I guess how do all the different cars handle different?
Yeah, I mean the trucks, right, are such a big hole, and they punch such a big hole, and the downforce that they create, and then when you're behind people, it drives so much differently. I'd say overall, probably the trucks drive differently, throughout the race with being behind people or being in front of people or whatever. Haven't driven the Cup car, right? I'd imagine that those drive pretty different, right? When you get behind cars with the diffuser and all that air going underneath the car. The Xfinity car, they do, but they don't, and that's why I like the series so much. Is they're not so aero dependent, right? To where you have to have that. It's important, right? I mean, obviously they drive and handle so much better when you have it, downforce or side force, but you can really, you know, race around cars and still be respectable on speed. Especially if your car's a lot better, you can really, maneuver and go where you need to make it work. So I love this series. I love Xfinity. It's fun. Enjoy it, and hopefully we can get some good opportunities throughout the rest of this year and see where next year lies, and really hopefully getting something really good and go perform and win some races next year.
Yeah, for sure. And you currently have 92 career Xfinity starts, um, but only one truck start. So I guess what's the reasoning of not much truck racing?
Um, just the relationships I've created here, it just kind of took off, right? I did a lot of stuff with Harmon and just created a good opportunity there and kind of just was in this garage a lot. So don't know a lot of people on the truck side, and the funding that it needs to take to go truck racing, it almost takes the same amount here, right? And I just love the series. Nothing against the truck stuff. I'd absolutely go drive a truck, but just kind of found a little bit of a home here, and just kind of making it work here.
Yeah, for sure. And then your Xfinity gig right now, during your time, you have three career top tens, all with different teams. One with Mike Harmon, and then DGM and Jesse Iwuji. Um, and they're all eighth place finishes. So what does it mean for you to like give like those small teams that those strong finishes?
Yeah, no, it was huge for a while. All three teams that I drove for, I had all three of them in the top eight, and it's ironic how all three of them were eighth place finishes as well. I didn't get one with Colin. I did a race with Colin, so now it or a couple other teams that I've driven for now. So not every team I've driven for I've finished in the top 10, but to have that stat early was really cool, and I think just really really awesome. I mean, some of the races that we put together, Kentucky with Harmon, and then Atlanta with Mario. Atlanta was a little different situation with it being a super speedway type situation now, and then New Hampshire with Jesse last year is cool, right? I mean, and I think those two, really all three of them, right? I mean, we raced there. I mean, we didn't. We had probably 15th to 12th place speed, and then Kentucky had a good restart and got up front and clean air, and just managed to stay there. Same thing with New Hampshire. We had a little bit fresher tires than some of the guys around us, but just putting ourselves in a good position. And it's not like a lot of cars were wrecked out of all three of those races. So it was kind of cool to look back at that as well.
Yeah, for sure. And now going back to your ARCA days, you have one win at New Jersey Motorsports Park from 2015. So I guess explain to me the feeling of winning your first NASCAR race and by a large margin too. It was like a 3.5 second win.
Yeah, no, that was cool. I mean, I look back at my ARCA series days, and I did 50 starts. 25 of them were in the top 10, and man, I shoulda, coulda, woulda won so many more races, and I wish I had some of those back, right? And just finished them off, or something late would happen, or just something, right? And yeah, but to look back and win in New Jersey at road course was really cool, really fun. I loved it. Paul Andrews was my crew chief. Loved working with him. But yeah, man, some of those hurt looking back at some of those races in the ARCA series days, and looking at how many I probably could have won, right? And I don't look back too much, right? I just focus on what's in front of me. But it would have helped a little bit more, I think, moving forward if I would have won a couple of those.
Yeah, for sure. And then all the racing series you've competed in the past, not just NASCAR, but like Bandoleros or Legend Cars or just any of that stuff. Um, can you think of a time where you raced from the back, like last place into the win then?
So the crew chief that I worked with on the legend car stuff made me do that a lot, actually. Even if we were to go qualify first, he would, just for the pure fact, and it's actually, so his name's Michael Harper, same guy growing up that Chris Buescher worked with. And I think that helped a lot with learning how to pass, learning how to race around cars, learning uh, when and when not is important to pass or when to take advantage of opportunities, right? So, but yeah, no, that was something that was actually kind of pretty common in the legend car days that I raced with Michael Harper. I didn't realize why at first, right? But now looking at it, I'm thankful for that, right? And yeah, there were races that we were offered, we would start in the back on purpose and go win the race, right? And I thought that that was really cool, right, to do that and achieve that. I think the first couple of times that he had us do that, right, we finished third. I'm like, why did we do that? That was so stupid, right? But we could have won the race. But now looking at it, I know exactly why, and that's just made me so much better now.
Yeah, for sure. And then throughout your racing days, what would you say has been your favorite racing memory thus far?
Just the relationships that we've created. Just traveling, right? I love traveling, going to different sport or different states and doing it with people that I love, right? So I just thought of that collective family atmosphere, right? And it's a fun sport to be in. It's very competitive at times, all the time, but then it also can be family oriented as well, right? And I think that what what we
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned traveling different places with family and such. And you're recently, or you're a dog dad, but you recently got a second dog. Um, so I guess do the dogs travel with you often to races?
No, I wish. I wish. So hopefully in the future, right, where I'm making a little bit more money and we can, hopefully travel with the motorhome and stuff like that. I would love to bring them. I love my dogs. My fiance next to me, she loves the dogs. Yes, we just got another one. He's incredible. His name's Aspen. So we have a golden doodle Oakley. We have a labradoodle now, which is Aspen, and they're awesome. Love them both. They're still getting used to each other. He's still a puppy. I think once he gets a little bigger, I think they're gonna have a lot of fun together.
Yeah, for sure. That's really cool. And and then growing up, did you have a favorite NASCAR driver?
Yeah, growing up, David Reagan, Carl Edwards, Chris Buescher, were probably three that I just really looked up to a lot and kind of paid attention to of every word they said, kind of they, how they drove. And then obviously with a little bit older, series or future, past. Sorry, what Dale Earnhardt did, what Richard Petty does with all of his fans and how he interacts. Yeah, those two are absolutely incredible as well.
Yeah, for sure. You mentioned Carl Edwards too. He's actually from your home state of Missouri. And I did a little research. The Wallace brothers are also from your home state. Rusty, Kenny, and Mike, Jamie McMurray, Ken Schrader, and Larry Phillips, a wheel modified guy that just got in the top 75 greatest drivers list. So what does it mean to like share the home state with those names?
Yeah, it's cool, right? I mean, I think initially that's probably why I was a Carl fan. But then just what he has done in the sport and what he has done with his fans and how he speaks and represents himself is over and beyond what a lot of drivers do. And then the way he did it too, right? I mean, he didn't really come from money, right? He really had to dig deep and find money and represent himself well and speak well. And he was a really fully packaged, put together all the way around, right? And I really respected that, and I tried building some of what I do around what he has done, right? So yeah, that's really cool. And then Kenny is awesome. I actually just met him for the first time a couple of months ago. He is crazy, as everyone knows. You can see that on Twitter or wherever you follow him on. Kenny Wallace is insane. I love him. I would love to hang out with him more, go dirt racing with him or whatever. He seems like a great guy.
Yeah, for sure. And have you like had conversation with Carl Edwards before in person?
I have, and then I have his phone number as well, and he is a really cool guy. He's a busy guy, but he'll always text me back or he'll always call me back. It might be a little bit delayed, but yeah, Carl is a really down to earth, great person, right? And he's helped as much as he could in my career, whether it's just advice or support, right? So really cool to have that, and he's awesome, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and the timing of his retirement, you started cup racing like right after, so that must have been like because you definitely probably would have loved to race against him.
Absolutely, yeah, that'd have been great. That'd have been incredible. Yeah, I've only met him a few times. I've talked to him on the phone or texted him more than anything. But yeah, I would love to be some type of more involved with him in my career and anything, right? So he's a great guy. He's actually going to be in Nashville. I actually literally just texted him this morning. He's not going to be here for Saturday. I was super bummed about that, understandably though. But he will be there for Sunday, and I think that's really cool that he's kind of a little bit more involved in the sport, and I think he's certainly missed. And I think that it's cool to see him first off in the Hall of Fame now, and to see him coming back to some of these tracks too is really cool.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess you mentioned about Chris Buescher, and I saw you have a close friendship with him on Wikipedia where you actually lived with him for a while when you moved into Concord, North Carolina. So I guess what's kind of sparked that friendship?
Yeah, it all started with the Legend Car stuff, right? When he moved out of the Legend Car series that he was in, I basically we bought all of his stuff and raced all of his stuff in the Legend Car days, right? So the relationship started there. Um, he was tied in with David Reagan a little bit as well, so just that connected relationship is how it started. But then, yeah, when I moved out here, I moved out here by myself for a while, and I moved in with him and Emma, his fiance at the time, and I call them mom and dad, honestly. So yeah, I lived with them for about a year and a half, and until my mom and sister moved out here, then I moved in with them for a while, and now I actually own my own place with my fiance. So, but yeah, no, he's an incredible guy, super down to earth as well, super involved and helpful, and and involved with the career as well, whether it's support or anything like that or advice.
Yeah, for sure. And I also saw you're a Black Stone chef in the making. So I guess what got you into that?
In the making, man, I'm a pro. I'm a pro, but I know that I'm not. My brother got me one for my wedding gift, and it's awesome. I absolutely love the thing. Um, she hasn't got it for me yet. My fiance told me she was gonna give me a chef hat. I mean, I'm totally ready to go full on hibachi, like style, like doing the little choo choo train thing with the little smoke rolling out the top, and throwing the egg up in my hat. Like I feel like I'm ready for that. This isn't even a sponsorship either. Like Blackstone, I love your stuff. This needs to happen somehow, right? I mean, I completely love what they do and how they handle their business and what they support and what they bring. So Blackstone is a really glad to have one, and it's a nice setup too. I love it. I'm thankful for that. My brother got me that.
Yeah, that's very cool. And then social media wise, you have over 3,000 followers on TikTok. So would you say having an account with that much following is beneficial for your racing career to get notoriety for like sponsorship and such?
Yeah, it helps, and having, over 300,000 on TikTok, and then having, some good following, over 50,000 on Instagram now, and have a good following really kind of throughout, right, is really important. And being involved with the fans is important. And yeah, I think it does help, right? And obviously the way that marketing is going now, especially with sponsors and stuff like that, that's really important to them, right? And how many people you can kind of help bring attention to their brand or what they're trying to do, right? So that's super important now, and social media has taken off and taken over, and having that platform with a lot of fans that support is really important.
Yeah, for sure. And then on social media, you publicly talk about your Christian faith. And I'm a fellow Christian as well. So I guess walk me through your faith journey a little, if you don't mind.
Yeah, and I am so blessed and thankful to have met my fiance and her mom. Growing up was a Christian, going to church and but with traveling and stuff, that was hard, right? And obviously always gone on Saturdays and Sundays, right? So really getting into detail, right, with who I am and who I want to be as a person. I bring a lot of credit to that to my fiance and her mother. They are very strong in their uh, and God has blessed me with first off my fiance and this family that we have two crazy dogs now, right? It's an awesome life to live, and all glory goes to God, right? With what He has provided us with and me with. There's a lot of stuff that I look back and, and realize that the way that any of this was possible was with Him, and it's incredible, right? And growing every single day, right? There's still so many aspects in my life that I want to be better at, right? And I think growing a relationship with God and having that connection with Him is what's important. And just balancing it all right with the busy schedules that we have and just making the time and is really important. And I think that it's still ever growing in my heart and our family here now. And I think it's just really great.
Yeah, for sure. And that's really cool story there and um all this support system you have with your family and all. And have you had conversations with other drivers about Christianity?
A little bit, yeah. So pastors and NASCAR do a really good job. We race on Saturdays, right? So we have a little, group that will get together, and I do everything I can to try to make that. Sometimes the scheduling at track is hard. They normally do it right. So the garage opens, let's just say at 12, they'll normally do it right an hour after the garage opens. So just depending on my schedule for that weekend, I do everything I can to make it over there. But Nick Terry is one of the pastors that I talk with a lot in NASCAR. He's actually going to be in the wedding, right? He's actually going to marry my fiance and I. And Nick is an amazing guy. He helps us so much. We are doing premarital counseling with Nick and everybody at MRO, that NASCAR group is really cool. And yes, there are a handful of drivers that are pretty consistent at showing up. Some of the wives show up, and it's just great, right? For Meg and just everybody to kind of feel like a group and a family. And then we get to go compete, right? And that's fun as well. And just thankful for it all.
Yeah, for sure. That's really cool. There and what are the drivers that show up usually?
There's a handful, right? And it's just sporadic, right? I mean, I think a lot of them have Jesus in their life, right? And some of them, show up, some of them don't, right? And I understand that and not going to press that on anybody. I've seen Brendan there a lot. A lot of the Stewart Haas employees and some of their drivers show up. Michael McDowell is super involved. I know he's on the Cup side. He's there a lot on Saturdays. Anthony Alfredo shows up most of the time. We've got I'm tip my tongue. Sheldon Creed. I love Sheldon. He shows up too. Him and his wife. Yeah, there's a lot of them, right? And it's sporadic in a sense, right? And it's just a really busy schedule. But I think just having a good core group is really cool and really important.
Yeah, it's very awesome. Having a group like that, just like because NASCAR could get stressful sometimes, so just having that there is awesome. And I guess who would you say is your favorite Christian singer?
Elevation worship is amazing, right? I mean, I've went a lot with Meg, my fiance, and I love Pastor Stevens. Stephen Furtick is amazing. I would definitely say Elevation Worship, right? I mean, it's different, right, with what they provide and the music side, but I love it, right? And it just everybody has different views and opinions on it, right? And it's just everything's internal, right? It's how your relationship is created with Jesus, right? And that's the most important, right? It's what and I love going there. I love supporting them. And Pastor Stevens is different, right? And everybody knows that, but I love that, right? And he's real, and what he provides is something that gets to me, right? And that's important.
Yeah, for sure. And so throughout the years, I guess, have you or like your years at Xfinity, who would you say you talk with the most, like before races or after and such?
Chris is probably the highest. Chris Busher. Have talked with David Reagan a lot. Um, and more as of recent, really try to surround myself with Dale Earnhardt. I love him. He's a really big supporter, and I really respect that. And Carl Edwards, I love talking to him. He's a busy man, right? But any type of questions, whether it's how to market the correct way or how to speak the correct way or just anything, right? I've got a really good group of people that I support and believe in and trust, right? And I think that's really important.
Yeah, for sure. How about in the like the Xfinity drivers, which one would you say you talk with the most?
And yeah, that's hard, right? I mean, I'm so busy during the week, right? Whether I'm in the shop working, so it's not like I go out and hang out with any of them, to be honest. But I've gotten closer with Anthony Alfredo with some of the stuff that he does. Bailey Curry, he actually not in the Xfinity series right now, but working with him in the past and stuff like that, pretty close with him. There's a handful of them, right? That we'll go talk to during driver intros or something like that. But just there's only a handful, right, that I have worked with, I guess, and that's probably why, right? I'm so dedicated and working at the shop and don't have a crazy amount of free time other than that.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess during your childhood, have you tried any other sports than racing, like throughout your childhood?
I did soccer when I was young. I was a pro athlete, scored all the goals. My brother was the goalie on the same team, so we were champs. Football, I was a good receiver, and uh, in middle school, catch or whatever, and PE or whatever. Never professionally or whatever. Basketball, dude, I'm way too short. Didn't even think about it. Actually, I did play basketball. I'm not gonna lie, but that didn't go far. Yeah, no, not really. I knew exactly what I needed to do. I knew that none of the other sports were in my DNA. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And
I'm
are
a
you?
pro. I'm a pro at what cornhole. If that was a sport, look out. I mean, because I mean, I smoke my fiance every time, and it gets competitive. She's over here shaking her head because she thinks she's better, but it's not true, right? I mean, cornhole. Don't even talk about it. I mean, it's so bad. I mean, threes every time. Like it's like it's embarrassing. I mean, I get embarrassed of how good I am. No, but it's all jokes. But no, yeah, no, I knew exactly what I needed to do. It was nothing else besides racing.
Yeah, that's awesome. And also, do you watch anything other than racing, like sports wise?
I love football. I'm a huge Kansas City Chiefs fan, Patrick Mahomes fan, Travis Kelsey, Tyreek Hill's a traitor. I'm just kidding. I love Tyreek. He's amazing. But yeah, a huge Kansas City Chiefs fan. My brother and I are huge Kansas City Chiefs fans. We went to 2 years ago now. We went to the final game before the Super Bowl um, at Arrowhead when they played the Bills. We were freezing. I had my overalls on. It was a great fun game to go to. That was probably the highlight game that I went to with the Kansas City Chiefs. But yeah, watching what Patrick Mahomes does is incredible. He's different, right? He sounds different. He walks different. He throws different. It's cool. And you look at it, and it's not supposed to happen the way he does a lot of things. But it's just fun to watch. It's just fun to watch.
Yeah, for sure. Mahomes is definitely something else with the football,
Yes.
his skill wise and such. And who would you say is your biggest inspiration?
That's hard. I do like a lot of what Tim Tebow has done with balancing, being in a professional sport and his Christian walk in life. So that is someone that I really really look at professionally, in very much respect of how he balanced his life with both sides, because it's hard, right? With the busy schedules and the traveling, and he just did a great job of that, right? So really respect a lot of kind of what he says, what he does. I need to get more into reading. I do. I have read a couple of his. I like a lot of his books. Um, yeah, just I would say probably him overall collectively.
Yeah, for sure. And then outside of racing, what do you when you have free time, what do you enjoy doing in your free time?
Love being on the water. I love going. Whether it's just a boat ride, whether it's surfing behind a boat, I love that. Going on a beach. Meg loves going on a beach. I do it too as well. Outdoors, I like going hiking. That's not top priority. Love being on the beach. Love being on the water. Love being on the lake, ocean, whatever it is. Fishing, if we're catching fish. I'm a little impatient, so fishing when you're not catching fish is not I'm not very patient at it, so we'll go to something different pretty quick. But no, yeah, just being on the water sports, and in general, just being involved in something like that is kind of my go-to.
Yeah, for sure. That's very cool. And now I have a list of fun questions to end this interview that I've listed. So I guess the first one, have you ever been overseas?
I have not. I have not. I know I haven't. I'd really like to at some point travel, wherever, right, and just kind of travel the world a little bit more. I have not, so that is a negative on that one.
And then um this one is, where would you relocate if you were forced to leave the country?
Oh gosh, that's hard. I don't even know, right? Because I haven't been anywhere else. But yeah, somewhere with really good weather, um, somewhere that has a beach close. I don't even know where that would be, honestly, right? But yeah, somewhere with good weather. Charlotte, North Carolina has, other than this last week, has had pretty good, consistent weather anytime. And consistent weather is pretty important to me. I don't like it all over the place, whether it's hot, cold, rainy, snowy. Like, yeah, let's just keep it consistent.
Yeah, for sure. And then what is on your bucket list?
Yeah, I think traveling, right? I mean, I hope to get to a point in my career, right, where some of the week work kind of frees up a little bit more, and just traveling a little bit more on just the weekends, and can kind of do a little bit more traveling. I think outside of the state, right? Kind of just traveling the world a little bit more, and seeing what's out there, right? Whether it's, I love food, seeing what kind of different foods are out there, and just kind of experience a little bit more of outside of my bubble.
Yeah, for sure. And here's a fun one. Who's your all-time favorite Disney character?
Oh gosh. See, that's the thing, is I'm so bad with movies, and I didn't spend any time watching TV. So I can't even think of one right now. Give me one. Olaf? It's not my favorite. Olaf? Okay, well, we're gonna go with Olaf. That's the snowman, right? See, I'm so bad, and she hates this because she's a Disney fan. Um, Give me another one. Shrek, is Shrek? She, what's it? Cinderella, right? No, I don't know. I'm so bad. I've even went to Disney World with her, and I can't even think of one that I would think that would be my favorite. Like, what do you think my favorite is? See, yeah, I'm bad. See, yeah, you're gonna have to skip this one. Disney characters is hard because I just didn't watch a lot of Disney shows, and she hates me because of that. She loves Disney.
Yeah, that's so hilarious there. Um, I guess growing up, did you have any nicknames?
I lost you. I didn't hear the question.
Growing up, did you have any nicknames?
Iceman. I don't know why my dad called me Iceman. I have absolutely no idea. He never explained it. It was on some of my early hero cards that dad made. Iceman. I I don't know why, but yeah.
I guess the Weatherman as well, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
And then um Do you know how to play any instruments?
I'm a pro at the drums, piano, guitar, flute, trumpet, whatever. I mean, as you can tell, I'm pretty sarcastic because no, like I was put on this earth to drive a race car, and that's like the only skill or talent I have. That's it. Um, no, I'm not very good at any instruments at all. Can't even sing. Can't sing anything. Can't hit a note to save my life.
And then uh as far as food, do you prefer bone-in or boneless wings and your favorite flavor?
Oh, I'm lazy. Boneless honey barbecue with ranch. Love it. That's another thing. Buffalo Wild Wings. This is not a sponsored thing here, but Buffalo Wild Wings. That's the answer to any question. Oh, don't mess with me with food. Yes, boneless because I'm lazy. Honey barbecue. Like I can eat them all day long.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely a staple there. And your favorite ice cream flavor?
Oh gosh, I do like strawberry like cheesecake. Like from where is that place? Oh gosh, Cookout. They've got a strawberry cheesecake milkshake. That's it. That's the one I'd go for anytime.
For sure. And then I guess now wrapping up this interview, I guess everyone at Pip Network enjoys to donate to a charity after each interview. So I guess is there a charity you'd like to highlight for us?
The any type of breast cancer foundation, I absolutely love. I support. The National Breast Cancer Foundation is really close to my heart, and obviously with what we're dealing with in our family right now with Meg's mom, so very important. Wearing pink or supporting pink. We're going to hopefully do a lot of things this October with that. But yes, that is definitely top of the charity list for sure.
Yeah, for sure. That's very awesome. We would just love to give back for that.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess wrapping up this interview, thanks so much, Kyle. This has been a great honor to interview you today. And yeah, wish you the best of luck at Nashville this weekend. Hope it goes great on the rest of the season and yeah, hope the years to come go great and see you when I see you.
Yes, I appreciate it.
Sorry, I lost you a little bit. I lost you.
Oh, I just said yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, I just said thanks for the interview. Let's do it again. I appreciate the support, and we'll see you soon.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Kyle, and have a great time this weekend in Nashville.
Thanks. I appreciate it. See ya. Bye.
See ya.